Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Rebecca Pickens. I'm a certified book coach and developmental editor. And every week I answer questions from my clients, from people who watch this YouTube channel about writing, editing, and publishing. If you have any questions for me, stick them in the comments section and I will try to answer them. So this week, our question comes from Susan. Susan is in my self-editing essentials group coaching program. And she's an amazing writer, and she is curious about genre shifts. She wants to know, can you shift genres in a book? Is it something that's done? What do agents and publishers think about it? What do readers think about it? And I thought this was an excellent question, and I thought it may be of interest to a lot of other writers. So I'm sharing it here today. Thank you, Susan. So a genre shift, very simply, is a change in tone, style, or conventions of a story from one genre to another. One place where we're seeing this more and more is literary fiction that is being infused with magical realism. This used to be a big no-no. This is not something we would have seen 10 years ago. But a couple writers have had some real success with this, and now it's catching on. Publishers are feeling less leery, and it's actually popping up in a lot of fiction today, which is so fun. And you will see this in lots of different areas, books that are no longer fit into just one tidy genre. It's a little more getting a little more complicated, a little bit more creative and outside the box of our typical genre standards. So why use genre shifts? There are several reasons, and understanding why you're using a genre shift is very important. Even though publishers are becoming more open to this idea and they are getting a little more adventurous, if you are going to take the risk, you want to have a very clear understanding of why, of how it improves your story. So here are just a few of the ways. One is to surprise the reader. Our brains love the unexpected. So sometimes, again, like with this example of literary fiction infused with a bit of magical realism, it can just really spark our curiosity and keep us reading because it's just something that we don't see as often. Doing a genre shift can really deepen emotional impact of a story. You can use that shift to punctuate an important scene where maybe we weren't expecting that shift. And because of the shift, we're paying closer attention to what's happening in that moment. Genre shifts can be used to reflect character transformation, and they can simply be used to challenge genre norms, right? It's fun to be surprised and to give the reader what's unexpected. But there are risks of genre shifts. The first one being confusing or alienating readers. We make a promise as writers to our readers when we start a story. So if your reader is going to pick up your book because what they want is an easygoing romance that's predictable and comforting, they want that couple to get together at the end. They don't want werewolves to show up. They don't want anything to disrupt the flow of what they were expecting. So being sure that your reader is up for this ride, right, is really essential. So be thinking about your audience, be thinking about the promise you're making to them, both in the marketing of your book, the opening of your book. What are these things leading them to expect you're going to be delivering? Genre shifts can disrupt pacing. There are plenty of ways to fix this, but it can be very jarring if suddenly the genre shifts without any kind of warning or any kind of preparation for the reader. Genre expectations might clash. My example of the romance book with the werewolves, not necessarily two ideas that go well together. So you run the risk of alienating your reader if those expectations are clashing. And then there's market considerations. If your intention is to self-publish, you can just cover your ears right now. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. That's the joy of it. But if you are planning to publish traditionally, there is a risk that these genre shifts could impact the marketability of your story. Agents may be a little bit more hesitant to pick up your story, publishers even more so. So you want to consider, do I really need this? Is this really critical to telling my story? And if so, how do I convince agents that this can work? Finding really good comp titles if you're going to do a book with genre shifts is essential. That is a way to assure your literary agents that you understand the market and that you've seen how this has worked well for authors before. So here are some tips for managing genre shifts so that we can eliminate some of the dangers of doing this technique. Foreshadowing the shift. If you are giving some hints that things are just a little off in your story, when you finally make a more dramatic genre shift, we're ready for it because you've been winking at your reader all along, kind of preparing them. So they're ready for anything. Keeping your character arcs consistent. You can throw almost anything at your reader if they're going to believe you. And so by keeping your character arc, and I would say also your narrative arc, pretty consistent so that your characters feel like real people and your story, this world you're building, feels like a real place. Anything can happen to these people. These people can respond any way you want them to, as long as they're doing it in a way that is consistent with the arcs you've established, both for your characters and for the world that they live in. You can use tone and themes to bridge your gap. By having a tone that, again, sort of is hinting at the unusual direction your story may be going in. You are, again, preparing your reader for the unexpected that lies ahead. And we alluded to this already. Know your audience and set their expectations. Again, if they're coming to you for a fun, easy beach read, they don't want they don't want magic. They don't want to be surprised. They want the story that you have set out to deliver. So knowing your audience, setting their expectations early on is the key to managing genre shifts. I always recommend mentor texts as one of the best ways to study craft. And I've picked 3 stories here that you can consider good mentor text for genre shifting, for studying genre shifting. The first one I've chosen is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is such a good book. So good. Great on audio too. It's pretty short. I think you can listen to it in 5 or 6 hours. This is part coming of age, part horror story, part gothic murder mystery. I mean, what's better than that, right? That's just incredible. Such a fun story. And she does it so seamlessly that I really had to think about, okay, I know she's doing lots of different genres here. I know that this is a mishmash, but it was so seamless and so just artfully done that I had to really think. She wasn't hitting us over the head saying genre, this genre, this genre, this genre. We had to really think about it. So this is a fabulous mentor text to look at and really study how to do a mixing of genres in a way that won't jar your reader. The next books need no introduction, and I'm using this series, the Harry Potter series, not so much because of the books, but because of the series. I couldn't think of another series that did this, but I'm sure they're out there. And if you can think of one, let me know. But a series of books can also have different genres. So the first three or four books of Harry Potter are all one genre. I would call it very highly magical. But then, as the series progresses, the influence is less on the magic, and it's becoming more a study of good and evil, and it gets much darker for a more mature audience. So sometimes a series of books will represent several different genres. And finally, a wonderful book by Stephen King. It's a brick. It's a tough one for a mentor text because you've got to really commit a lot of time. But The Stand is I think it's my favorite Stephen King book. And there are plenty I have not read, but I really like this one. And it is a blend of horror, fantasy, and post-apocalyptic fiction. And again, you don't know that if you're just reading this book for pleasure. Stephen King is just a master of entertaining us and fine writing that we don't often give credit to. He's really good at what he does, but above all else, he entertains us and he weaves these different genres together so that we're just on this we wind up in really unexpected places. We feel like we haven't been before. So take a look at these. There are plenty of others. Um, look at how the authors are doing what it is you hope to achieve by crossing genres. So I hope this was helpful for you. Have fun exploring mentor texts. They really are helpful. And play freely with genre. Experiment, explore. It's how we get the best stories. I will be back again next week. If you enjoyed this video, I would be so grateful if you would hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me be able to deliver more content to you each week. Thanks so much.